could you run a handful of businesses with just AI and automation? Uh, you probably can. That's one of the things that we're going to be talking about today on Everyday AI. This is for the everyday person. We're helping you learn and leverage AI. There's always so much going on. So, this show, this live stream podcast, and our free daily newsletter is dedicated to helping everyday people actually use and understand everything that's going on in the AI world. So, before we bring on our guest today and we talk about how you can use automation and AI to run so many parts of your businesses and even multiple businesses, let's first take a look at some things that are going on in the news, in the AI news world. So, let's dive in. So, there's a new Netflix documentary coming out tonight called Killer Robots, and it's looking at the use of AI and robots on the battlefield worldwide. And there's been a lot of press on this, just looking at how world powers are just rushing to get this new tech on the battlefield. So that's interesting. If that sounds up your alley, check it out. A new one here: Google is actually testing its medical AI chatbot at the Mayo Clinic. So obviously, Google and ChatGPT and Microsoft, they all have their dedicated general use chatbots that a lot of us use every day. But Google is actually testing its medical-only chatbot at the Mayo Clinic, which is one of the best clinics in the world. So I guess, is this something that could signal the widespread adoption of ChatGPT and other things in healthcare? That'll be interesting to find out. Last but not least, are we breaking up with ChatGPT? So this has been widely reported, but a new CNET article that we'll link to in our newsletter takes a pretty deep dive into this, because for the first time in June, OpenAI ChatGPT saw a decrease in traffic to their website. I actually don't think it's people breaking up with ChatGPT at all. I'd say it's mainly two things. One is they released their iOS app with new functionality, so I think just more people started using the app versus the website. And second, students. Students, they're done with school for the most part in June, July. So I think we're going to see that uptick, in August or September come back. So let's get ready now. So if you have questions about how you can use automation and AI, get them ready, because very, very excited to bring on our guest for today. We have Patrick Mvaa, who is the owner of Lush Global Solutions. Patrick, so excited to have you on the show.
Glad to be here, Jordan. Thank you very much for inviting me.
All right. So you will definitely put a link in here to check out Patrick. He's always sharing just great things on LinkedIn, how people can just really simplifying AI and automation. So shout out to Patrick for that. But Patrick, just give everyone a quick breakdown of what it is that you do at Lush Global Solutions.
Yeah, so under Lush Global Solutions, we have several businesses, but for this talk, I'll just bring up one of our local business. We service Kentucky area. We have a house cleaning business, and we are in about 8 different cities, plus some parts of Indiana, in 2 cities in Indiana. So, GPT AI comes in handy when you're in so many cities.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's something that we talk about on the show. A lot of times we talk about how it can help you with one business in one city. But Patrick, talk a little bit about having 8 different local service-based businesses is a lot. I know you probably have a small team, but how have you been using AI or ChatGPT to help you, really grow in 8 different locations?
Yeah. So when you're in, local service, you need a lot of service pages. And the good thing with, with service pages, you can only do one thing same way, everywhere you go. So, we kind of use, ChatGPT to create service pages, what we do. So we explain what we do and everything. Then we put in some variables. So we change variable like cities, maybe time. And we might put in geolocation, so like longitude, latitude on that page, those type of things which you can all automate using ChatGPT and some of this mass page like programmatic SEO, like Page Factory type of software.
Sure.
So within a few minutes you have pages almost for every location.
Yeah, it's wild how much you can actually do, not just inside ChatGPT, but specifically when you start bringing in other outside tools. So I know Patrick, you're probably using Google Sheets to put in some automation in there, tools. I think we talked pre-show like Bardeen, but for the everyday person that's maybe not super familiar with using other tools in addition to the simple ChatGPT interface, what's a good way to get started, and maybe even talk a little bit about how you're specifically using GPT with things like Google Sheets?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing is, first of all, just simplify everything. Most people are familiar with Google Sheets. Okay, once you have Google Sheet, you can bring in ChatGPT. So let's say you have HVAC business, right? And you're familiar with Google Sheets. What you can do is you can just download a little extension from a company called No Data, No Business. This little extension is called Import from Web. Okay, what you can do, let's say you want to, to get the sentiment. I mean, to get the competitive landscape of your bid in your category. So what you can do is you can scrape Google Maps. Everybody knows Google Maps, so you can bring that information into Google Sheets, okay, and you can look for things like reviews. What reviews are out there? The date of the reviews, okay, phone number of the company, everything. You can do that. Now, from the Google Sheet, what you can do now, you can collect those reviews and push them, let's say, to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, hey, based on these reviews, give me a sentiment analysis of this business.
Wow.
Now, ChatGPT will give you the sentiment, either, it'll give you both, actually, positive and negative. Now, from that, you can drill down and say, hey, based on this this analysis, what are the keywords most appearing in both negative and positive? All right. Then from that, you're gonna get, first you're gonna know how people feel about that business. Then you can come up with strategy.
That's great. That's great, Patrick. And I think it's a way that so many, not just business owners, but if you're in marketing, admin, advertising, anything, like if your company gets reviews, I think that's such a great use case of using, a simple way to combine simple automation, bringing in Google Sheets with ChatGPT, because you can start to find things out about your business. You talked about the sentiment analysis. You can start to find things out that would used to take many hours or sometimes days. How have you been able to leverage getting that information, so quickly, and what have you been able to do with it?
So, I mean, once we get that, sentiment analysis, first thing, we know exactly what we need to do. So if we are doing that against the competitor, we know, okay, this is what we need to compete on. We need to be better on. Now, on our case, when we do it for our company, we know where we need to raise our game. Also, that kind of like informs what type of content we are putting out to the public. In our newsletter, in our socials, in our Google My Business, all that stuff. But you can also go, you don't have to do this just for Google Maps. So if, let's say, you're an author, you can pull reviews from Amazon, see what people feel about other authors, right? What you can put in your in your new book, if you have a new project coming out, you can do this against competitors that have physical products. So you can do this like on different products, different services. And as you say, I mean, sentiment analysis tools used to be expensive. If you look online, they do not even show you a price. You have to book a demo, so you're about to pay out.
Yeah, yeah. Patrick mentioned, this tool. I threw it up on the screen, but if you're listening on the podcast called No Data, No Business, I haven't used that one personally, but I've used plenty of tools in my time. So, something, it sounds kind of technical and dorky, but I'm going to try to break it down here. But, kind of what Patrick is saying, and I think what's really relevant to a lot of people is there's so much open information out there on the web that with some basic scraping tools, Patrick's example is perfect. If you're an author, you can find someone that wrote a book similar to you. You can scrape every single review that they have on any platform and use sentiment analysis to see what did people actually like about the book and what did they not. I think that's a great use case. Patrick, maybe what are some other ways that you're using, simple automation and AI to run and grow your business?
So another thing is our socials. We have a list of key. So we look at what our competitors are posting, how many times they are posting, and we just automate that process. So if they're posting 5 times, we try to post 8, 10 times.
Yeah.
Because Google loves reasons, and also, we look how many times they get reviews, and we get an average per week, how many reviews and how often. So if they get, let's say, 5 reviews in a week, we try to get 10 reviews in a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's how we get to compete with them.
Yeah.
Other simple thing that you can do is social listening. I mean, for people here on LinkedIn, most people, they want to grow their brand. They want to to get engagement. You can just find your favorite creator who generates a lot of engagement on their post, and use a tool like Baden to scrape the list of people who are commenting, and you can put that in Google Sheet and you can start engaging with them.
Yeah.
So
It's great. Yeah. Like, I throw Bardeen up on the screen here. Another simple, tool that, works well with Chat GPT, as well. So have a comment or a question here, that I want to toss up to you, Patrick. A great question from Rastafa saying, can you estimate how much time you save in operational duties versus automating products and services? So all these things that you're talking about, how much time is it taking you to, do these things consistently in Chat GPT or Bardeen or whatever, versus how much time would it take you without it?
Oh man. So just think, let's say, if I need to scrape 500 reviews of, by hand on Google Maps, that will take days. But with import from web, literally takes me minutes. Then I just copy paste, put a prompt on Chat GPT, and I have the sentiment analysis. And so it's massive time saver. It is massive.
Yeah. What's been, Patrick, what has been the thing that you've been using with, Google Sheets or simple automations, combining it with ChatGPT? What do you think has the broadest use case, for our listeners out there who maybe don't own, multiple businesses, but what would you say is, kind of playing off of Rastafa's question, what is one of those things that you can get the most time gained for, day-to-day tasks that most people are probably doing?
Okay. So, most people, let's say they post on social, right? You can literally just go to ChatGPT and ask it for a simple content calendar, and it will give you a content calendar, and from there you can create, you can get your you can get your content. All you need is to edit, so you put your voice on it and use one of these. You can use native scheduling tools like on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and upload that content, schedule it, and forget about it.
Yeah.
So
that's a great simple example, because almost any business department, whatever, is probably responsible for posting something, creating some type of content that they put out there. So that's a great example, Patrick, that you shared. And I think a thing you can do to take it a step further is make sure you're using, as an example, ChatGPT Plus with plugins, and then give ChatGPT your website or your competitor's website as well. It'll save you a bunch of time. So couple, Yadi said, sounds like something Fluid Memory could do. Yeah, talk to Peter about that. We'll be featuring that tool at some point, just to scrape, consolidate. Yes, exactly. Val asking, so here's a good question. Val's asking, any other tool that you can recommend to scrape the web? So I'll let you take that one, Patrick. I have a couple, but what's your take on that one?
Yeah. So far, Badin is pretty good. It's a solid tool. Of course, import from web is another tool. Also, you can go with Hexify, so there are several tools out there, but so far I think Badin will do a lot of work, and also import from web will do a lot of work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Patrick took the answer out of my mouth. I'm a big fan of Hexamatic that we have on the screen here. Great tool. Because you can, literally anything that you can think of, any data that exists in the web, you can easily bring all of that data into ChatGPT and respond like Patrick has already given some great examples. Yes, Maybrett with the comment here. It seems like a great tool. This episode is exactly what she needed for one of her clients. Great. I'm glad this has been insightful. Patrick, what's maybe one thing that you're working on now, at least in the realm of AI and automation, ChatGPT, something that you're excited about, because obviously this space is always growing. It's moving so fastly. What's caught your attention and that other people might be interested in as well?
So building revenue models. So, you can use a tool called coefficient.io, and you can connect Google Sheet to your Stripe. And you can bring all your Stripe data, and from there you can build a solid dashboard. You can do your forecast, your revenue models. You can do everything. So that's what I'm putting together this week. That's what I'm working on this week.
That'll be an interesting one. And I think, something that we haven't talked a lot about on the show yet is the new feature not new, but a lot of people are just getting access to Code Interpreter, the new kind of feature in, ChatGPT Plus that can kind of do the same thing. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to play around with that yet, Patrick.
Not yet. Yeah. I just got it Saturday. So
yeah. Most people are just getting it over the last couple of days. So I'm sure we'll be sharing about it, more on the show here soon. But Patrick, just as we kind of wrap up the show, what would your kind of one piece of advice be? Because I think that people, when they first heard about AI, they're a little hesitant and it sounds like a lot, right? And then now we're saying, hey, use even more, bring in automation, bring in Google Sheets. And it sounds like, even more complex, even though it's not. But maybe what's a simple takeaway message that you think you can give to people that can really help them use the power of automation and AI?
Just get started. Early adopters always get rewarded. Get started, be familiar with the tools. Of course, right now you cannot just unleash them. You still have to put your voice, but it will be a significant optimization in your organization.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I lied. We're going to take one more. One more from Arturo here asking, how long did it take? This is a great question. How long did it take for you to master ChatGPT for your business? It's not always as easy as it seems, right?
Yeah, and it is easy, but every day it's like I'm learning new things. So have I mastered it? to an extent, because I embraced it very early, when it came out. But I'm still learning every day. Every day I go in there, I'm like, oh man, I can actually do this. So it's a continuous, learning thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Patrick's advice, right there, just every day, it's something we try to encourage people is like, try to start phasing out traditional search, right? Not saying stop using Google, but the more that you can use ChatGPT and some of these things that Patrick talked about as well, the better and better you're going to get, and the more efficient you'll be as well. So, Patrick, we talked about so much in this episode, so many different tools and techniques that people can use to grow their business and just understand what's out there. Thank you so much for sharing all of these insights with our audience.
Man, thank you for having me on your show today. I always listen to your show, so it's awesome, man. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. So, as a reminder, Patrick just dumped a whole bunch of knowledge. So if you weren't able to keep up and catch every single thing that he talked about, don't worry. Head over to youreverydayai.com. That's youreverydayai.com. Make sure to sign up for the newsletter. We're going to be sharing more about all of the things that Patrick talked about in our newsletter that goes out every day at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Or 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So also make sure to check out the podcast as well if you can't join the live stream. So with that, thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you back tomorrow and every day with Everyday AI. Thanks.
Thank you.